In Norway land there lived a maid, Baloo, my babe. This maid began, I ken not where father is, nor yet the land where he dwells in.
The laws of the heart are different from the laws of men. I wasn't tried at the ting of the heart. I might have stood a chance then. Me, I was brought forth at the midsummer ting for judgment. The ancient mounds and the smug landowners decreed my sin to be erased with red-hot fire. My story, reduced to cinder and ash. If I'd had my dear father to speak for me, if my mother had had a voice, could they have set their daughter free? I faced the fire alone, without mercy, my woeful fate my only companion.
In Norway land there lived a maid, Baloo, my babe. This maid began, I ken not where father is, nor yet the land where he dwells in.
A drink precedes a story, my father always said. So in honor of that good man, pour yourself a whiskey, and I'll begin at the beginning. My father was a fisherman from the west. Blessed he was, they say. The fish seemed to swim into his nets. My mother was a wise woman of the old ways of Orkney, a guardian of ancient secrets, a medicine keeper. She had the gift, they say, of hearing what the plants would whisper to her only. When mother died in childbirth, along with my tiny sister, there was no wise woman there to save her. She was the sole keeper of her occupation in our village, save what she had taught me in our 12 short years together. My father, he took to the seas, hurling his lament upon the froth, and the fish, they swam no more into his nets. Each day wore a little more on his heart, until he caught a fever that spring, and he hadn't the strength left to fight it. I tried to fight it for him. I searched the bluffs, high and low. I searched for all the plants mother had taught me would give him the fortitude to heal. I hung the charms about his neck. I whispered the ancient charms over his body. Una, you are called oldest of plants. You have might against 3 and 30. You have might against poison and infection. You have might against the Latin that travels around the land. But when someone has made up their mind to go, even the most powerful charms are useless. 16 summers I was then, and the men, they came from many lands around to propose the handfast at midsummer. They all told me I was the bonniest lass across the land, but I hadn't a heart left to give. I turned them all away. I may have been particularly frightful to a mysterious man who arrived with a simple gold band instead of the customary, more elaborate gifts. He was arguably the most handsome and graceful man I'd ever seen. The more beautiful the man, the more bitter my words became. So he too was driven away. I closed the shutters. I hid in the dark. I put the scare in all of them. But one. One who wouldn't be swayed from his prize. Odevere, he was called. His reputation with the lasses didn't commend him. But by he that hangs from the tree, he swore I'd be his bride. Now, whether Odin took the oath sworn to him seriously, or whether I just grew tired of protesting, I'm actually not sure. But court me Odevere did, and he seemed to know just what to say to calm my sore heart and win me to his side. But no sooner had he his bragging rights. The lass that couldn't be won was fast installed in his hall, and off to the Holy Land he went, to brand the pagans with his fiery cross. He hid me here, among the jewels and the paintings, so much like the other treasures in his coffers. In loneliness, I waited his return, each day, combing and plaiting my long golden hair, and then looking out over the castle walls for sign of him on the horizon. But he had too many knights to slay, and fair maidens to beguile. I'm not sure exactly when the fever began to creep into my head, but I found myself all the same, one windy night on my old strand, wandering that in-between space where I used to collect seaweed for soup with Mother, keeping an eye to the horizon together for Father's return. On this same patch of sand, I now called out to my Father with all of my might and all of my sadness. And the full moon, rising on the sea's horizon, seemed to light a path over the water to refuge.